Welcome back. I am Jenna Gullo, the MSA United Way Executive Director, and your host today for United Way's Community Talk. We are on Super Talk 1270. A special thank you to Town Square Media for donating this time, and a special thank you to Mr. Scott Hansen for co-hosting with me today.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great experience. It's one of those, I've been kind of pulled out of my comfort zone, but I appreciate it. Everybody needs a little tug out of their comfort zone.
You never know what you're going to do when you're at United Way. That's a nice thing. We have a very small staff, but we get a lot done. And the way we get our work done is through really good volunteers. We just had Dr. Chuppy, board president, over almost 2 decades worth of volunteer time. And I can think of so many others like Al Klein and, so many people that make our job easy, because they take on a lot of the work. That's how we keep our admin costs so low. Our last audit just showed that we spend 3% or so on administrative expenses, and we have 5% for fundraising, but many of those fundraising expenses are 100% covered by our premier sponsors, like NISC. Hello, Mr. Dosch.
Hey,
Thank you
Jenna.
for joining us.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
So you are a premier sponsor, and so is the University of Mary. So, that's just really exciting for us because it really helps more campaign dollars to go back into the community and be allocated. So thank you for doing that for our United Way.
Glad to do it. And, from our standpoint, Jenna, the way we looked at that is we're really trying to raise the awareness among our employees, help them understand the significance of the work that's being done here by United Way, help educate them about the needs in our community that are a bit stealth. And so as we talked about this, we said, if we're going to expect more of our employees, I guess we better set an example. And so that really was the reason that NISC made the decision to step up as a premier sponsor.
Well, thank you, Vern. And you talk about setting an example. You as a leader have it's been an honor for me to be able to work with you and to learn from you. Every meeting you run, every interaction you have, it's true servant leadership. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to work together.
Well, you're too kind. And you know what? It's easy to be passionate about something like United Way when you believe in it. When you believe in the staff at United Way is extraordinary. You lead by example. This is about not just donating money to reach a goal, right? It's about dedicating your time and talents. And I listen to your stories about your foster children and things like that, and I'm going, oh my goodness, here is one of the busiest ladies that I know in Bismarck, and she's a foster mom, and she's given back, and I'm going, how great is that? And I can get behind that. I can get behind an organization that not just talks the talk, but walks the walk. The leaders within United Way, the staff of United Way, the board. You look at that board, the Dr. Chuppys, and it is a who's who. It is the salt of this community. And so when you consider all that, it's easy to get behind United Way. It's an easy decision.
Thanks, Vern. We appreciate it. So what were you thinking about a year or so ago when I called you up and I said, so, Vern, I got a proposition for you. Actually, I think I told your assistant first. Didn't I tell Darcy?
I think you did.
And I said, Darcy, do you think he'll say yes? Do you think he'll say yes? Because I think it's so important that the people who lead our United Way are a reflection of the values that we have, and you are the perfect representation, along with a couple of your cohorts. So first, before we get to them, what did you think when I called you up and asked you to chair our campaign?
Well, if you'll remember, it took me a couple days to get back to you.
Well, you wanted to talk with Lynn. I remember that.
But, the thing is, Jenna, I've been a passive United Way supporter for a lot of years. I think one of the proudest things I have in my office, or the thing that I'm proud of, is this little United Way plaque that I don't even know how many years ago I got it, but every year I put my new sticker in there, and I've run out of spaces for the stickers, so
we'll get you a new plaque.
But
coming right up.
The point is, I've given money to United Way for years. That's been a part of our family plan. But I've not been involved. I've not, dedicated my own time to this. And so I think our family is like a lot of families. The kids were little, they were very active. It was really hard to carve out time, but today we're in a little different place. It's kind of an empty nest going, and
you're still one of the busiest people I know.
but and how do you say no to Jenna?
Well, perfect. Good.
How do you say no?
Like
you
that.
call me and I'm going, doggone it, How do I say no? And really, talking about it and kind of sorting through it, we said, look, things that you believe in, you figure out how to make time for. And so that really was the reason that I finally picked up the phone and said, let's do this.
Well, we appreciate it. And then we also appreciate your support in recruiting some co-chairs. One was supposed to be an honorary chair, but I think he's put more time and effort into this. He deserves co-chair status, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how great is it to be in a position like this and to be working with two of the people that I admire most in the community. I mean, Monsignor James Shea, is there a busier person than Monsignor Shea? Mm-mm. And when you and I talked about the possibility of asking him, and I thought, I just don't know if I can impose on a guy like this with a request, but let's give it a try. What do we have to lose? And the incredible thing was, I told you I took about 3 days to make a decision, right? Mm-hmm. I walked up to Monsignor Shea and I said, look, this is what we're doing. I need your help. I need you to be an honorary co-chair. And he looked at me and he said, okay, yes. I mean, just like that.
Isn't that awesome?
It wasn't something that he had to think about. And so I'm thinking, how great is that? And you're right. It's much more than honorary. I mean, the guy is engaged. He's at the meetings. He's adding, and it's so much fun. It's just so rewarding to be in the company of such good people. And Paul Sukut falls into that category. I've known Paul for 35 years and watched him grow in his career to today, one of the most prominent positions in Bismarck-Mandan, running one of the most prominent companies, Basin Electric. But a guy with a schedule like that says, yes, we'll be a co-chair. So, I am just so fortunate to be surrounded by these giants of the community.
So talk about how you gentlemen assembled your cabinet, and what does that even mean for our listeners out there?
Well, I think, the first thing that I need to say is when you talk about the fundraising part of United Way, really the heavy lifting is done by the staff of United Way and by the members of the cabinet. And, so early on, part of our role as co-chairs was to make sure we have the right people in those positions, the right relationships, the right history. And the good thing is that I'm guessing, Jenna, 3/4 of those cabinet members are repeat members. I mean, they're people that have been there, done that. They know what to do. They've devoted their time and talents year after year, and they just jump in and get it done. So that was kind of easy because they raised their hand and said, yep, count me in again. There were a few new spots that we had to recruit. But I was amazed. It's the busiest people, the people that you are most reluctant to talk to, they're the ones that say, yeah, let's do this. And I'm so grateful for their selfless contribution of hours and hours of their time. Again, this isn't just about raising money or getting to a goal. This is about allowing people to invest their time, and that's huge also.
Yeah, so Dr. Hyder was one that really, it didn't surprise me because I know what kind of a person he is, but I've also been in his office where literally every other minute he's getting paged or called into other meetings or crises or questions from other hospitals. And so you and Dr. Hyder are really doing something unique in the healthcare sector this year.
Well, Dr. Heider, practicing neurosurgeon, chief of staff, has a lot of physicians that report to him. His is a 7 by 24 by 365 world. But again, when we talk to him about this, I mean, he's in a position where he sees the needs in the community, probably has a unique vantage point of that. And as we began talking about how we would approach the medical community, which is huge in Bismarck-Mandan with Sanford and with St. Alexis CHI, huge. And we really wanted to approach it in a way that was collaborative, where we bring the medical community together to work for this common cause of United Way. And so Dr. Heider and his network reached out to physicians at Sanford, and we're able to bring them in. And so this is a collaborative effort where these two very significant medical centers are putting their collective resources together and doing the right thing for United Way.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dosch, for your leadership, for really recruiting a great campaign cabinet, and also for inspiring your team to have an even greater, robust employee campaign. I know the other morning your execs were serving pancakes and sausage to the team with the free will offering. You're a premier sponsor. You had me come and speak to the group, which quite frankly was more terrifying looking into a webcam than it was just looking at people. I don't know. But really, thank you for everything that you've been adding to our community through United Way and for being our guest today.
Glad to do it. Thank you, Jen.
We will be back in just a couple minutes. If you want to get more involved, if you want to be on Vern's team, give us a call at United Way at 701-255-3601. Like us on Facebook. Get involved. Respond to emerging needs in our community. That's Facebook.com/MSAU Way. We will be back here at United Way's Community Talk in just a couple minutes.